As a demon, the laws that bind you are very clear. If anyone should make a request of you using your true name, you must grant it, and take their soul in return. For the first time, you feel conflicted as you appear before a young girl with dyslexia who tried writing to Santa Claus. For the love of everything unholy and holy, I thought to myself as I see what my latest gig in soul collecting is. Out of all the demons to get a contract with a dyslexic, and it has to be me, Xandacause. Unlike my brother, Krazcause, I took his job seriously, especially since we and others in the afterworld all had to deal with the uptick of human souls being born. Damn Iknak Simulweiss. Santa, you're finally here! The little girl said as she saw me in a glamour form. Her summoning must have somehow brought me in a form she desired to see. This made me all the more disgusted at how these laws are, at least for my region within the afterworld. I tried to remember what Wu Zhen, one of the Yaoguai transfers from the Wutai branch of the underworlds, told me about loopholes from when he used to work in the celestial bureaucracy of the Wutai branch. Santa, my name is Susie McGee, and I have a list of what I want for Christmas, the girl said as she pulled out a list. It was a long one, about 4 pages. I soon had an idea in delaying what I hope was not an inevitable outcome of taking the soul of a child with dyslexia. Ho, 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 Susie, I said as I tried to impersonate the voice of the jolly old man she expected. Let Santa take a look at that list. I gotta head over to my workshop and let the elves know what to make just for you, I said as I bellowed another laugh. As I took the list, I immediately returned to the afterworld. I immediately bolted my way to Wu Zhen's office as I clenched Susie's list in my hands, avoiding my managers to the best I could. I didn't want to be confronted by a stickler for the rules when this one summoning was very conflicting. As I burst through the door to Wu Zhen's office, he looked at me with confusion and annoyance. I had interrupted his lunch, though most of his irritation was from the babbling that was coming out of my mouth. Xanda, take a few deep breaths. Then you can tell me what's wrong. After doing a few deep breaths that were more rapid than slow, I was able to explain it all. A little girl summoning me by accident, giving me a list which turned out to be badly written, with all sorts of spelling errors that would befit a first-rater on top of any dyslexia. As Wu Zhen finished collecting his thoughts from what I told him, he simply took out a phone and called someone, all while motioning me to leave the office for a moment. As I stepped out in anxiety over what could happen, it only took a couple of minutes. Xanda, you can let this one go, Wu Zhen said. A few of the higher-ups overheard and asked what the commotion was, but Wu Zhen noted that, thanks to what had occurred with my latest summoning, he'd have someone from King Enma's office look into some loopholes. Our superiors were furious, especially since the law was the law in their eyes. But Wu Zhen simply stood his ground. King Enma has more weight and power than any of you lower-class middle managers. Don't try to quote me on what the law is, when someone that has been examining every single loophole and interpretation to the law. This one summoning of Xanda was a pure accident. For 10 more minutes, the management tried to talk down to Wu Zhen, telling him that things work differently around here. They learned, however, to shut up when the executives came in with a rep from the celestial bureaucracy of Wutai. Needless to say, I didn't have to take Susie's soul. Instead, I just had to grant her wish. As I returned to Susie, I put out the facade of being old Saint Nick. Now then, Susie, my elves aren't sure what you want. Can you tell Santa what it is you want? I asked her. Susie then told me with a big, toothy grin. Of course, it was just all the hot toys kids wanted these days. I couldn't help but laugh. She wasn't getting anything, especially since the contract in this instance was entirely nullified and I didn't have to take her soul. A few years had passed. I learned to make sure I know the loopholes and interpretations so I wouldn't get into something like this. But as I was summoned for yet another gig, I was shocked to see that my summoner was none other than Susie herself. Her request was simple. "Oh, great Xanda cows," the little girl said. "I summon you so you can fulfill my one desire. The beating heart of that liar Santa Claus." I couldn't help but keep a stony face as I looked at the child before me. My solemn and grim demonic visage betrayed all of the shock and fear that was within me. I should have known I had messed up. I just hope Wu Jen knows of something that can fix this, as I don't really want to kill Santa. "Okay then, child," I said in a guttural tone as I tried to keep my composure. "For what reason is it you want Santa dead?" Her face was filled with rage, her expression enough to make me wonder what was wrong with children. "He didn't even get me anything when I asked him, in person!" The rage in her was building up, hotter than any hells I had to walk through at company marathons. "He didn't get me spinning rims, a pony, or even a new mommy. I want him dead!" she shouted. It was loud enough to wake the dead. "Okay, child. Give me a few days and I will bring you the heart of Santa," I said, lying to her better than Satan ever could to humanity. I definitely need to get a hold of Wu Jen, or one of his buddies from the celestial bureaucracy.